Kevin, what exactly did the administration just announce?
Well, two things. First and foremost, the first round of Iran sanctions is scheduled to go into effect later today. Now, this is going to impact everything from the U.S. dollar purchases and gold trading, as well as from the commodities industry, including aluminum and the intellectual property with industrial software. It could also impact the automotive sector as well as Iranian debt purchases. But you did mention, Vani, that this does have the impact to have some waivers, particularly in the energy sector. Now, the rial, for its part, has really been hit and rattled by these sanctions. Now, the second round, of course, would be impacted in November. But if you look at just how much this has been hit by this, it's really trended downward, particularly when matched against the U.S. dollar.
Is President Trump trying to meet with Iranian leadership? Is that why the pressure now, Kevin? Apparently, officials have been saying that almost 100 international companies say they plan to leave Iran, and officials are also playing down the impact of Chinese resistance to Iran oil sanctions.
Well, two things. First and foremost, the administration really pushing back against the notion that the Chinese would somehow impact the U.S. relationship with Iran, since the president had, of course, announced that the U.S. withdrew from the Iran nuclear disarmament deal, instead relying on the United Nations as well as some other international coalitions to increase involvement in the region. Now, European allies have urged the U.S. to reconsider the position of withdrawing from the nuclear disarmament deal, but the president has said that he is hoping to use additional sanctions to get them to the drawing board. But if you look at from the energy sector import crude outflows from the region, just China accounts for 26% of Iranian crude outflows, the European Union 20%. So while no major U.S. financial institution is really doing business there, there is definitely a supply chain that impacts the EU as well as China. That said, I want to pull up the total OPEC crude production, because Iran is significantly behind, of course, Saudi Arabia, only a fraction of what the Saudis produce at more than 10,000 versus Iran at about 3.7 or 3,700.
Kevin, what about the fate of cargoes passing through the Persian Gulf? We've heard threats from Iran that cargoes could be stopped at the Straits of Hormuz. I mean, that would be a massive move.
It would be a massive move, and it would be something that would impact the international security of the region. And you've seen already just how the intense type of relationship that has intensified. Case in point, look at how the Saudis have evolved in the past several months with regards to how they've tried to protect their own ports. So clearly the situation intensifying. The president has said that he is open to meeting with Iranian President Rouhani. He said that as far back as just a week ago. He's reiterating that. The administration also reiterating that in that call with reporters earlier today. Whether or not that is something that ultimately comes to fruition, we'll have to wait and see.